We must reduce emissions of climate-damaging CO2 in the atmosphere and halt them without delay. With its vast potential for wind and solar energy, Namibia is excellently placed. It can become a global player in green hydrogen production. Namibia is thus an attractive partner for a large number of countries. I am both happy and proud that we are the first to sign a formal cooperation agreement with Namibia in Germany. Across the entire country, Namibia has vast, as yet unused areas of land and perfect wind speeds that can be utilized for profitable wind energy production. And with some 3,500 sun hours per annum, Namibia has even greater solar energy potential, almost twice as much as Germany. This is why we anticipate that a kilo of green hydrogen from Namibia will cost between euro 150 to euro 2. That is a world record price, placing Namibia before other hydrogen hotspots like Chile. This is also the case even after adding in the costs of environmentally sound seawater desalination on site and meeting Namibia's local electricity supply. With costs like these, Namibia can rapidly become a key player in the green energy market of the future. As soon as its own energy needs are covered, it can export to countries elsewhere. Germany companies can supply the technology Namibia needs. And in doing so, Germany can meet its tightened climate targets and chart the course for sustainable development in Namibia. In addition, hydrogen production in Namibia also provides a testing ground for our technology developers and research institutes. Namibia is the driest country in the sub-Sahara. If we can produce fair, climate-friendly, affordable green hydrogen on a larger scale in Namibia, then we can do the same worldwide.
Africa has a great potential at the moment in terms of the opportunities in the area of availability of the natural resources like the wind, the solar. One of the biggest challenges is the area of finance and technology. For instance, at the moment, Africa does not have much in terms of the finance, in terms of the technology. We don't have it there. So that now calls for an opportunity of strong alliance, because that's the only way we can take advantage of that. Those privileges are there. So I would say a stronger alliance with the global world is the key to really be able to overcome such challenges.
Hydrogen is an enabler. It's not a silver bullet, so nobody should think about that. It's not the new oil and that's it. It is an enabler for circular processes. And that is very, very important. It stops linear. Linear was the past. You exploit raw materials, you take them out of the earth, you use them, and you have a CO2 emission, and you have non-recyclable products. Here, we take renewable energy and we turn it into a dispatchable energy vector. That's new, and that's the difference to electricity, because there were these nice projects, Desertec, you remember this big word, and Desertec had one problem. You cannot dispatch the electron, but hydrogen is dispatchable, and that's new. This is super important that here we have a channel where we can use basically the infrastructure, existing infrastructure that needs to be repurposed. That's for financial markets special news, because financial markets are interested in assets, and these assets, they all exist. Until 2030, we want to build up 40 gigawatt electrolyzer capacity in Europe, and another 40 gigawatt electrolyzer capacity in the north of Africa.
Hydrogen, of course, is easier to store, I would argue, than electricity, which is one of the key aspects that has been attractive. We have been very active in the green hydrogen space. We have also published a country ranking for the green hydrogen economy's investability criteria.
This year, we are going to make a specific regional transition energy outlook, or what we call it RETO, mainly for Africa, that would emphasize about a partnership for exporting green hydrogen, given the renewable energy sources coming from mainly solar and wind. We are working on that. We are working on several technologies, including the one related to storage and transmission. And I have to say that storage and transmission, that's really where the infrastructure importance needed to be looked at, which is not there yet. And there is a lot of investment. And I'm sure your goal from his standpoint, from looking at European investors, it's very importantly needed to go for having bankable projects, starting with all needed infrastructure to be there. On the second part, actually, very quickly, Yusuf, which is about the finance. That's basically where my division is looking at. We are looking for basically how to funnel through quality at entry the bankable projects. And just to let you know, for green hydrogen, there is a huge demand, okay, to receive project specifically on the European side, but the supply side from Africa needs to be very much boosted.
This is what all is about. It's about zero emission strategy. And we have developed a sort of a roadmap that was published last week, officially on the website of our ministry, that presents somehow the view or the vision of Morocco, and that could be also scaled or taken also over in other African countries, because we have somehow the same architecture, the same potential in terms of wind and solar. This new paradigm of humanity, of civilization, we would like to switch the paradigm. We would like to change how we consume, we produce, we live on this earth, because climate change, and we have just finished a very important COP meeting. Climate change is now with what we have seen in COVID is a big threat to our own civilization. So now it is about, without being dramatic, it is about being changing the paradigm of consumption, paradigm of production, and paradigm of growth. So for us, we really see this as a historic moment for Europe and Africa to correct mistakes, as Jorgo mentioned, but to build new history and to build a win-win, because this will bring, of course, zero carbon neutrality for Europe, but it will also bring a lot of sustainable development and economical impact, positive economical impact in Africa. And this is what all is about. And the idea is to take advantage of this at a maximum. And this is why in Morocco we are trying to prepare the ground, some studies on regulation, some studies on infrastructure, some studies also on R&D and innovation, how we could together cooperate with European technology providers and industrials to reduce the cost of renewables and also of electrolysis and hydrogen production.
L'industrie minière ici, c'est le plus gros émetteur de carbone au Mali. Donc on est en train de négocier avec eux l'introduction d'engins qui utilisent de l'hydrogène pour pouvoir développer un marché local d'hydrogène au Mali ici.
So the mining sector is the leading carbon emitting sector in Mali and in many West African countries. And so right now we're negotiating with different governments and with different mines to look at using hydrogen fueled equipment.